question is, are we actually communicating with our animals? Is it intuition? Are we projecting? What does that look like? And how does it work? Hello, everybody. This is Z with Living Multidimensionally. So I wanted to come on here because I got a call with my favorite best friend in the whole universe, Miss Sadie over here, to do a video about animal communication. And what does that mean? Am I actually in intuition with it? Am I projecting what I think she's thinking? What does that look like? And what does that look like multidimensionally? And just to break down multidimensionally from my perspective is I'm not just one thing. I don't just have one thought. I have a physical body. I have many thoughts. I have perspectives. I have emotion. I have an energy aspect, a spiritual aspect that comes in, and it's very multi-dimensional. Miss Sadie here is 16 years, in human years anyways, old, and she's been my partner through everything. The deepest moments, all my transformation, all of the really hard moments, and she was the one that I could communicate with pretty much right off the bat first. And I want to break that down a little bit, because when I'm talking about animal communication, I'm talking about less complexity. They don't work with the human jargon, the monkey mind, all of the thought processes, the complexity, which is why I wore this hat as a joke. My thinking cap. In order for me to communicate with this beautiful being, I gotta be out of my thinking mind. She doesn't work that way. She was very clear right off the bat how she did work. And for me, I also don't like the complexity of things, the human mind, all of that. I work through energy, sound, like messages through images, and that's something that was just right off the bat with her. If I'm gonna wanna have a communication session with her, the first thing that I need to do, and yes, I want this to be very clear, is I need to regulate my nervous system. Because if I'm not regulated, she tends to also dysregulate a little bit, and then she moves away from me. So I would say if anybody is starting out with this journey and they're like, I'm not exactly sure how to work with that, what does that look like? I would say the best way that you can regulate your nervous system is going to be step one. If I am very calm and regulated, she's going to come back up to me. She's going to want to lean on me because I feel like a very safe space. And if we're talking about animals, of course, I am definitely going to hit the nervous system first because they also have nervous systems. And these guys, and not just her, like with any animals. And I also want to take a pause there too to say, this is a perspective. Your journey with animal communication is going to be completely different. They work very much so with nervous system, picking up on sounds, colors, vibrations, things that a lot of times our bodies aren't so in tune and aware about. They pick up first. So if I'm in a very calm, regulated space, she's gonna wanna interact with me. Now, sometimes she's gonna wanna just come up and lay her head on me. I need to be so far outside of my mind for her to give me a message. And she specifically works through images. That is not with every animal. I do have another service pup at my house, and he works very much so through feeling. So I'm gonna get a really good gut feeling first before I get the communication going appropriately with him. And just a little bit of context here. My beautiful Sadie is at my parents' house. That is what she preferred. I know when I'm communicating with animals, they all have their own journey, they have their own choice, just like with humans. And that was her preference, to be with my parents. And she has a little sister that's super wild that she adores. But yeah, so once I'm out of my thinking mind and I'm in my heart mostly, I'm just gonna say in my heart, she usually gives me a slew of images right off the bat. Now, about a month ago, I took a nice little walk with her, and very calm, very chill, and she was so clear on her messaging, words. The images that she brought to me were very clear, and it was about her actually transitioning. And I do want to talk about that because I feel like we don't talk about it a whole lot. And, you know, yes, it's emotional. And also, like, I realize that she's she's lived a long life down here, and she's very excited to go back to wherever she's going to need to go, or her next existence. That energy gets to go and be freed up. But she was very clear on it, and I was like sending her pictures back. It was basically the image of her leaving her body, and I was like, okay. And for me, because I love her so much, my mind was like, well, I'm going to take you back to my house then, and I will just take good care of you. And it was a big, absolutely not. Her image was for her to stay here, where she knows that she needs to be. And during that process, she threw out many different images of our time together. So it was kind of like a life review. She expressed how much she deeply loved me. And I also saw, at least from a soul essence, that I obviously haven't been, this is the first time that we've been together. When I view her energy by itself, she's very dolphin energy, completely. Sounds like a dolphin, looks like a dolphin. So her communication is quite easy for me to pick up on. She was showing me images of all our times and spaces together, and she showed me an image and a feeling of, I want to tell you that I wanted to resolve anything that didn't feel good between us. There are times that I didn't understand you, and vice versa, and I want you to know how much I support you in your process moving forward. And then she showed me an image of another dog coming through. I was super not excited about that, because I was like, I'm gonna stay with you until you've transitioned. And she was like, absolutely not. You have another companion coming through the space, and he's coming in real fast. And she showed me the image of him, his energy, what he looked like. And, of course I kind of broke down and cried, and I was like, okay. But I know from my communication with her, I trust what she's telling me. And this is another piece of the animal communication, because if you're asking questions like, okay, well, how do I know that's true? How do I know this is like the right thing? How do I know what they're trying to tell me? For one, step back into regulation. Two, take an observation. What is your animal doing at the moment? Because their body language is also a big piece to this. Three, active listening. What does it feel like in your system? Because they're not going to communicate the way that you normally think they would. It could be a feeling in the body. It could be an image. It could be an emotion that pops up. For her, it's very much so image-wise, but she will hit my emotions. And I've known, after a long kind of existence of walking together, that when she tells me something, it's very clear. It's very potent, so it gives me like a big stop, pay attention, and I always do stop and pay attention to her. And with her, those images always roll out. It always happens, no matter what she's sharing with me. At the very beginning, it was about just trusting that, but she's never wrong. Uh-oh!
Yeah.
Her choice. Okay. I had to move to the back because we allowed conditioner pop on. All right, so I was at the point where it was about trusting what they're communicating to you. And does that take practice and time and a build of the relationship? Absolutely. That goes with any animal. If I am out on my own journey in the mountains and I see a deer or any other animal that comes up, I'm going to do the exact same thing. Because for one, depending on the animal, they're going to clock my gaze. They're going to clock my nervous system. In fact, I was just out a couple weeks ago with wild horses, and we're talking at least 2 miles away from me up in the mountains. And one look, and they start pushing back. Okay, so that just kind of goes to show you how much your nervous system plays a part of this role and how it works. And if I'm even giving her a little bit of pressure, even looking at her, she's gonna feel it. She's gonna feel it. Animals are gonna feel it. So I can't say that enough, how much the nervous system plays a good role in this. And then trusting that, look for the signs. If you're picking up on an image or a feeling, is their body responding to that? If it's like a premonitionary thing, does it come into play? So just watch out for that. And if you get it wrong, fantastic. Like, we're all here learning. We get it wrong all the time. And I would have to say a big piece to that is be okay with getting it wrong. That goes with anything in the universe. I feel like be okay with getting it wrong and going, okay, I didn't quite get that one. How can I recalibrate then and maybe take another step back to see what I can resonate with at the moment. Now, she's a very, very potent soul, very, very potent. She will come and give me messages in the middle of the night, no matter what, wherever she's at. And I will always have a check-in with her too, throughout my day, since I'm not always around her. And sometimes, to be honest with you, she's like, bugger off. I don't want any of that right now. But yeah, so I really just wanted to come on here and give my interpretation of what communication is like with animals, and kind of just to round that up. If you're talking with an animal, less complexity is better. If you're in your mind, if you got a lot of thoughts, if there's anxiety, stress, you're super busy, it's going to be a lot harder to hear them. If you can be regulated, they're going to love that. It's a safe space for them. And then take a step back, observe what they're doing, observe how your body is taking it in, because remember, your body is going to clock in their nervous system, their behavior, and it might not understand all of that, but some of it can pick up on. And then trust yourself, trust what you're picking up on. If you don't get it all the way right, that's perfectly okay. And then see how it rolls out. Create a deep bond, a connection with them. See how they like to interact with you. Because also note too, like, they're their own animals, and they I laugh at this because Sadie's so particular about everything she does. She's a very independent thinker, so being around me all the time is not her forte. She wants to do what she wants to do when she wants to do it, and that's full permission for her to do it, especially if I'm like trying to give a command and she's like out doing her own thing. Not gonna work for that dog. Now, my service pup, who's at home, he knows his job, and he wants to do that job specifically. So if I'm giving him a command, he's like, yes, let me do a job for you right now. I'm so excited for this. So just watch that every animal you're around has their own journey. And if they don't want to do something, if they're not doing something, if you're trying to command something and they're not doing it, there's a reason for it. Take a step back, take ownership of yourself, and see where you can go from there. Maybe they need a different structure. Maybe they need a different toy. Maybe they don't want to be around other dogs. That is also a helpful way to make the bond very strong. All right, everybody, I love you so much. I'm so glad I got to come on with you today and experience with my absolutely stunning pup. She's like, don't call me pup. All right. One last thing, because she's coming back. So if there's any messages that she wants to give the audience, see what images that she's, yep. She always does stuff very intentionally. The biggest thing I'm seeing in here is she's showing me a lot of animals, and lots of human interaction with animals, meaning how can you best support animals right now, because their energy is really big. They've been helping to support this universe for a very long time and this earth. So she's saying interact with them, give them lots of love, take the complexity out of it, because they want to communicate with you. They have lots of messages right now on how to help the shift that's happening, and to help break constructs or belief systems. They're really good at that. Let's see what else. All right, so she's saying don't be afraid to trust yourself and trust an animal, even if that might be scary. I mean, it's the same thing as trusting yourself in the space in your journey, but they're wonderful mirrors. She's showing me a mirror now to keep the energy flowing within yourself, but be able to trust. So she's saying, everybody take a moment to trust yourself, trust the existence that you came into, the animals. Now she's showing me plants, and now she's showing me the earth. So be in trust of your journey, take the time to communicate with them, because they really want to communicate with you. And then she's showing me a big heart, and that she loves everybody, as this might be your last encounter with her, seeing her with me, because I know I've done several videos where she's kind of been in the background and playing, and she loves you guys very much. Thank you.
Yes.
Are we actually communicating? Well, actually, I'm gonna have to ground that for a second. Okay, so she's like, and goodbye.